Hello everybody, welcome to 2017. I am actually recording this on January 1st, hoping to have it out later today. Of course, it's a new year, so it's always good to kind of look back on the previous year and see what happened. 2016, for this channel, it was the first year that I reviewed light novels right from the beginning and all the way through the year and made that sort of the prime focus of the channel. The community that has started to build around this channel is fantastic. I've had lots of great conversations with a number of you throughout the year, and I think 2017 is only going to see all those things expand. So I thought it might be fun to kind of take a look back at 2016, and everybody loves top 10 lists, so I'm going to do 3 in this video. We're going to do the top 10 volumes by views, the top 10 volumes by likes, and then I'm going to do one that's a top 10 series. And so what I did in that case was I took the total number of views per volumes reviewed, because a number of these I reviewed 2 or 3 more volumes, and then I divided them by the number of volumes that I reviewed. So to get an average, and then ranked it by that. So let's get into it. We'll crunch some numbers and we'll talk about some ups and downs, and we'll talk about how some of this stuff works. Now, for all of these reviews, it is based on the fact that I reviewed it in 2016. A few of these volumes would have released before 2016, but it is strictly based on when I read them, okay, and when I reviewed them. So let's start off with top 10 by views. Now, no surprise, this list is really dominated by volume number 1s. In general on this channel, I can pretty much say that volume number 1s always get the most number of views. So, but there are 1 or 2 little surprises. So at number 10, we have The Irregular of Magic High School at volume number 1 with 826 views. We have The Isolator, volume 1 with 837 at number 9. At number 8, we actually have a volume 2, and that is Overlord volume 2 with 895 views. At number 7, believe it or not, we have a volume 4, which on this channel is pretty much unheard of, because generally speaking, the views just decrease as volumes get reviewed. But this one, No Game, No Life, volume number 4, 985 views. Now, that might partly be because volume number 4 was where the light novel series picked up after where the anime finished, because the anime only covered 1 through 3. So that could explain why that particular volume saw a real big shoot. At number 6, we have My Youth Romantic Comedy As Wrong As I Expected, volume number 1 with 1,004 views. Now at number 5, we have Psychomay, volume number 1 with 1,110 views. Now, a caveat to this, technically speaking, Legend of Galactic Heroes, volume number 1 would have been in 5th place with 1,128 views. Now, I'm mentioning it because I think it's fair. I did review it, but generally speaking, Legend of the Galactic Heroes, even though it is, of course, of great interest to anime fans, it's not technically considered a light novel. It's not really considered a light novel by the companies who are releasing it, and it's not really considered a light novel in Japan either. So it doesn't really belong on a light novel list, but I want to mention it because I did review it, and like I said, I know a lot of you were really interested, which you can tell by the number of views it got. At number 4, we have Seraph of the End, Guren Ichinose Catastrophe at 16, volume number 1, with 1,735 views. At number 3, we have Overlord, volume number 1, 3,315 views. It is the only series that had 2 on this list. At number 2, we have Kitsu Monogatari with 3,654 views. And then at number 1, and given the uber popularity of the anime this year, it's not much of a surprise that ReZero volume number 1 had the most number of views in 2016 with 3,747 views. Now, top 10 by likes, generally speaking, most of the titles are kind of the same. There's 1 or 2 different ones, and they switch positions a little bit. So number 10, we have A Certain Magical Index, volume number 1 with 46 likes. We have ReZero volume number 2, so in this case, ReZero makes 2 appearances with 49 likes. Isolator volume 1 with also 49 likes, so we had a tie actually for number 9. At number 8, we have Seraph of the End volume number 1 with 52. At number 7, we have Psycho-Mei number 1 with 57. At number 6, we have Sword Art Online Progressive volume number 1 with 62 likes. At number 5, we have Overlord volume 2 with 68 likes. Number 4, my youth romantic comedy is Wrong as I Expected with 76. Number 3, we have Kitsu Monogatari with 100. At number 2, ReZero volume number 1 with 111. And then at number 1, we have Overlord overtaking everybody, volume number 1 at 132 likes. So a significant increase of likes over pretty much everybody else. Overlord is one of those series that just, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be getting as much of the mainstream press. I guess maybe the anime didn't catch on as much as, in North America as some other series. But in terms of the light novels, they seem to be getting a lot of recognition in Japan. Overlord, I should have looked this up before I started recording the video, but I know it recently won like a number 1 spot for the sort of longer length, more mature type genres of novels. It's just getting a lot of recognition as a series, and I think it's really well deserved. It's definitely one of my favorite series so far. Now, in terms of the top 10 by average views, so like I said at the beginning of the video, I wrote out the number of times that I had reviewed different volumes, then divided it. So if I'd reviewed 2, I divided the number by 2, and if I reviewed 1, well, obviously it was only 1. Now, of course, the hazards of this is that if there was only 1 volume reviewed and it was only a volume number 1, chances are it did a lot better than series where I'd reviewed volumes like 3, 4, and 5. So obviously there's some fallacy to how you do this, but still it's kind of interesting to take a look, and there are a few titles on here and that change things a little bit. So for this, we have at number 10, Bakano, with 1 volume reviewed at 690 average. We have Sword Art Progressive, volume 1 with 731. We have Isolator volume 1 with 837. Seraph of the End, 3 volumes reviewed, 838. No Game, No Life, only the 1 volume, which of course volume number 4, 985. My youth romantic comedy is Wrong as I Expected with 1,004. Psycho-Mei with 1,110. Now, Legend of Galactic Heroes, number 1 would have fit in here, but again, we're not really including it. Then we have Overlord at the number 3 spot with 2 volumes reviewed with 2,106. We have ReZero with 2 volumes reviewed with 2,204 views. And then finally, we have Kitsu Monogatari, or, one of the Monogatari series, with 3,654, which again benefited in a huge way that there was only the 1 volume. And of course, Monogatari has had a massive number of anime, different seasons of anime. It's got a huge following. It's really not a surprise to me that it's placing so high in terms of views and likes. But at the same time, I have to say, I absolutely loved Kitsu Monogatari. It is probably one of my favorite light novels that I read this year. So I'm kind of not surprised and at the same time not opposed to it doing so well. Just a couple of things here, though. So this year, stats for the channel, because why not, So this year, I read 28 different series. So at least 1 volume from 28 different series. And I read a total number of 51 light novels this year. Now, for the top 10 averages, there were 14 series that I reviewed this year that I only reviewed 1 volume. So if you listen to that list, there are 3 different places in here where there are multi-volume series that are in the top 10. So you know that there's, even though there are a bunch of number ones that I reviewed, they did not make top 10 of any of these lists. 6 series were reviewed with 2 volumes. I reviewed 7 series that there were 3 volumes, and only 1 series that I reviewed 4 volumes in 2016. That was The Rising of the Shield Hero, which I believe it's because One Piece Books has been very aggressive with their releases of that series. I think almost a little bit to the detriment of the grammar in the books, but nonetheless, I mean, they just keep pumping them out like, 4 a year, I think they've managed. So obviously, that's why I've read more of those. One other thing that I wanted to mention about this when I was looking at like the views and likes and everything else, there is only one series that has increased in views with each progressive video that I did in the year 2016. And that was, Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Danmachi, actually, I reviewed volumes 4, 5, and 6 this year, and each volume increased in the number of views with each volume. Now again, that could partly be because that was approaching the end of the anime, and then volume number 6, of course, was picking up where, like, beyond the anime. So I guess that's not entirely shocking, but it's the only series that's managed to do that hasn't had a dip in terms of the number of views over this year. So there you go, guys. I know like some of you are like, well, what's your top 10? And honestly, I got to be honest. When I take a look at these, I don't disagree with much in terms of the top 10s on these. Obviously, I really enjoyed Goblin Slayer. I would probably throw Goblin Slayer into that top 10. That was one of the ones that I read this year that I really, really enjoyed. I'd probably replace No Game, No Life Volume 4 with Goblin Slayer because, again, it was a really good series. I just don't think it's gotten the hype because it doesn't have an anime, and probably too because the manga is quite dark and graphic. I don't think as many people gravitated towards the light novel because of that. It's definitely not a happy-go-lucky series. Also in this, I probably would have replaced Isolator Volume 1 with Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. I really liked that series as well. And again, kind of surprising it hasn't gotten a ton of views, but I think part of that might be because J-Novel Club has just gotten started and it's a smaller company, and maybe not as many people are aware that Grimgar is actually being released officially in English, and that some people aren't as big a fan of ebooks, and so I think that kind of is a bit of a knock against it because not as many people are like seeing it on their bookstore shelves and then kind of wondering what it is and looking up reviews and such. So those are probably like the 2 number ones that I would have put into this list that I really enjoyed this year that weren't mentioned. But I mean, again, like I said, ReZero, of course, great series. Volume number 2, in my opinion, made that series even better than Volume 1 did. Kitsu Monogatari, you've heard me go on and on about it. Same with Overlord, definitely one of my favorite series overall. Volume 3 comes out in January, which I am really excited to take a read of. My youth romantic comedy, As Wrong as I Expected. A lot of fun and a very different type of light novel than what we've generally gotten. So that's 2016 kind of wrapped up, both for me and for the channel in general. You know what? You guys have been absolutely amazing this year. When I took a look at it, when I started the year, I had just over 400 subscribers. We're now pushing towards, as sitting here today, we're at 1,361. So we've added about 900 subscribers this year. And given that this channel existed for about 4 years before that and never cracked 1,000, adding 900 subscribers in a single year is huge, especially because I think light novels, we just have not seen, I think, the way light novels surging in popularity the way that I think they probably will in maybe this year or in 2018. Definitely this year we saw a huge increase in releases over what was out in 2015. 2017 is definitely shaping up to be no different. I think it's going to be a massive year for light novel releases. And now that we've got a couple of new companies starting to get into things, and even other publishers starting to expand what they're releasing, I think 2017 is going to be a huge year for light novels, a huge year for this channel. All of you have made it that way so far. I am going to try and keep up with 2 reviews a week so I can try and actually keep up. So again, I hope 2016, despite all of the weird and crazy and sometimes awful things that happened, that there were at least some bright spots for you. I am hoping that 2017 provides us with less weird and crazy and more bright. So Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel. Thank you so much for watching the videos and commenting. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you're brand new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so you can check out all my future light novel reviews, and I've got links to my old reviews as well. So again, thanks so much for watching the video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye for now.